I have a confession. Well, it's not really a confession. It's more of a, I did something and I want to talk about it. I want to open this discussion. I wrote a book. A first draft. Okay, let's call it a first draft. Let's call it a not very good first draft of a book using AI. I just want you to know that it did hurt me to say those words in that order out loud. Like, I think a part of me died a little bit. I wanted to talk about the experience that I had in this process because the main reason why I did this thing, this crime that I won't repeat, is that I just wanted to see how good it was. How good is AI at making a book versus what I could do on my own? Spoiler alert, the book wasn't that good. I could write a better book on my own. It would take me a lot longer, but the book would be better. You have to be so precise with the prompts that you're giving it and like with how you're telling it to write the story that you might as well just write it yourself because it just okay, hold on, back up. I had talking points. Let me get back to my talking points. Okay, I've got my talking points. So I wrote this book using AI, right? AI did most of the work. First of all, you cannot see this book, so don't ask. It's not going to be published. It'll probably sit on my computer for a while until I decide to take the premise and run with it myself, but it's probably just gonna sit there until I forget what it is and just delete it. Number one, the book was not that good. It just wasn't. So much of it needed to be rewritten for it to be readable that it just defeated the entire point of having somebody else write it for you. And so much of the writing itself was just so, what's the word I want? Hold on. Generic. That's the word I want. The writing itself was so generic that it just ick sometimes. So, like, it had some of the words that he used just kind of gave me the ick. Like there was one phrase that it kept reusing. I don't remember what it was. Something about a broken smile. Like the guy in it kept trying to describe him having a broken smile. And it was just where did it get this phrase and who in the book community has used this phrase so much that AI thinks that this is the phrase to use. And I'm going to find that in some book now and be like, huh? The writing itself was not good. Like it was so generic and it literally felt like it was just taking sentences from here and there and just like splicing it together. Like, here, this is what you wanted. It wasn't good. Like if I found this book elsewhere online and looked at it, I'd be like, no, I don't like this. If you have to rewrite every single sentence that it spits out, what's the point? Like, you are defeating the entire purpose of having the AI write it if it's not good, and then you have to rewrite it anyway. And that's basically how you write things. Like, you write something, it's not very good, then you rewrite it better. Because, like, the first draft of a book, the very first draft, is you telling yourself the story. This happened, this happened, this happened, this character thought this character feels this way after this event. Like, that's how I write, I guess. The first draft is literally me telling myself the story and like the story beats, just getting those story beats on paper. And then every draft after that, I'm going back over and making the sentences prettier. Uh Taking out, the telling and making it more of like the showing and implying where I can and adding foreshadowing. It's just like little things like that where the first draft is about the story, the character arcs, all that stuff. The later drafts are smoothing all that out and making it readable, making it pretty, making it fun to read. And you're basically taking that first step and making AI do it. And it's not doing it better than you can. Like, it didn't do it better than I could. So it's not that it's useless in that regard. Talking point number 2, the experience that I had with writing this book wasn't fun. Like, it wasn't enjoyable. Like, I am just telling this AI, like, hey, write this scene, make it this way. And it just felt so, what's the word I want here? It felt like cheating. It felt like I was cheating on an exam that I should have studied for and I didn't. Like in a class where you really, really liked the teacher and you didn't want them to know you were doing it. Like there was this, what, guilt, I think it was, maybe? Because this just horrible guilt and shame that you're using this AI to do something that you yourself could very easily learn to do. And it was just, ugh, I didn't like it. I still don't like it. Ugh, I'm gonna feel it now. Thinking about, how using AI to write a book made me feel, and thinking about all these authors who claim to use it, and do they not feel that way when they're using AI to write a book? Do they see it, oh, this is just a tool that I'm using to help me write a book? If you can't write an outline to your own book, maybe you should work on your outlining skills. Maybe if you needed to write your first draft, maybe you should work on your drafting skills. Maybe that book is not ready to be written into a first draft yet. I have plenty of those ideas. The idea I used for this AI book experiment was one such idea. I had a premise of this alchemist who has a mysterious past. I couldn't figure out what it was yet. Goes and she's looking for some plant in like this haunted, creepy, cursed wood, and she has to go, she needs a guide, right? So she goes and find this grisly ex-guard who has also done something in his past that will come back later, didn't know what it was yet. And she coerces him into being like her guide and guard to go into this cursed forest. That was the premise I used. And I basically had the first scene kind of outlined where she goes into this, bad part of town tavern and finds him and promises more gold than she has to him if he will help her. Then they go into these woods, there's trials, blah blah, bandits, and it's, the romantasy where they fall in love, as they go, whatever. But that's the idea I had. I had no plot, no outline, but I was like, I have this premise, I'll just use this one. And I'm moving into plot point, technically number 4. I'll come back to number 3 here in a minute. That by the time I got to the end of this book, I can't tell you anything about that book because I didn't technically write it. I don't know the characters, I don't know the plot, I don't know the world, and it doesn't feel like my book anymore. It feels like it's a Five Nights at Freddy's amalgamation, where it's just taken punches of parts from other books and just glued them together in like a bad macaroni art. And like, here, look what I made. And I don't like it. It's not a good book. I'm sure there's someone out there that would read it and be like, this is great. Good for you. That's fine. No shade to you. But I like a little bit more depth in my books and in my characters and my world building. And it just felt so lacking in those departments, but also I didn't have any information to fill in the gaps. Like, I can't tell you the plot points, I can't tell you how that story goes, even though I read it. I read most of it. I think I skimmed the last little part because like it just kept going and I finally had to tell the AI, okay, it's time to wrap this story up, make an ending. And of course the ending was like 2,000 words. I'm like, hold on. And like there was one chapter I told it to like, hey, make this chapter longer, and it just added so much fluff that it was just like, I feel like it just kind of goes around and around and around. It's very repetitious. And some of the plot points are very, very repetitious of previous plot points or plot points that happen later in the book. And it's just like, And going back to the writing, the writing itself, it would do this thing where it would make dialogue be like real emotional, but there was no scene before that justified the amount of emotion that was being in this dialogue. So it knows how to write dialogue that's emotional, but it doesn't know how to correlate that with what has happened right before. And there were so many of those scenes, and it was just all over the place. But talking point number 3, moving backwards, I didn't plan these out very well. the entire experience of writing a book with AI or using AI to write a book. I did very little of the writing. The whole experience was not rewarding. Like, I do not feel confident in this book. I don't feel like I did anything. And other authors, you know that feeling when like you finish a rough draft and you're like, I have a beginning, I have a middle, I have an end. Yay! That feeling of just accomplishment that you get wasn't there when I did this AI book. It just wasn't there. It was a very flat kind of a, oh, okay, yeah, I'm done now. Now what? Kind of a feeling. Or when you get to the end of like every draft you do of a project, you feel so that accomplished, victorious, you're one step closer to getting this book out in the world. This might be the book that, lands you that agent, that, goes viral, that gets you all those new readers. It might be the book that, boosts you into that best-selling author category. I do not feel that confident about this book. I do not feel competent. I do not feel confident that this book is any sort of good. Like, I don't feel good after I finished it. I don't feel good about letting anybody else even see it. Because, first of all, I didn't do anything. It's written with AI, it's written with stolen material. So, no, I do not feel good at all about, like, even if I were to go in and rewrite every single word of this book, I don't feel good, or I wouldn't feel good about asking people for money in exchange. Like, if anything, I feel like this would be like a free download from my website or something. Just, I don't, if I have to rewrite every single word anyway, what purpose did AI serve? I know everyone's all, panicky about AI erasing, creative arts, but how it worked on this book, I don't think we're there. That's not to say that we won't be there eventually and that it's not a problem we need to focus on, but if it writes books like the one it wrote for me, again, the book wasn't good. Like, you have to be so specific with the prompts that you're telling it, with what you're telling it to write, that you might as well just write it yourself. Like, it doesn't add anything except it's not allowing you to exercise your creativity. So overall, my experience with writing a book, sorry, using AI to write a book is not positive. I don't think I know I won't be doing it again because it wasn't fun. It wasn't rewarding. It was just very icky, and like what I got out of the AI was so lackluster and generic that I know I can do better. Like, I haven't spent the last 10 years working on my writing skills to let a machine do it for me. Like, no, I have worked on my skills. I can write a book better than AI can write a book, so I will continue to write books. And I know I'm speaking for myself when I say this, but hypothetically, let's say AI writes all these, bestsellers and blah blah blah. I will still write books. Like, if I stop writing books, like, my brain will probably implode. And I also wonder if we are thinking about AI in the same way that, like, years ago people were thinking about, like, computers. Oh, you're not going to use a typewriter to write your book? Or if you are using, the AI of Word to, like, find all your misspelled words, so you don't actually have to go learn how to spell those words properly. Is that kind of what it is? Or what was it? I had a thought, it's gone. Oh, or are we looking at this kind of the same way of how people once looked at, like, digital art as being of, oh, you just use all the digital tools so you don't have to learn how to actually use a paintbrush, kind of a thing. So years from now, are people going to be looking back and going, not worrying about it at all because it's going to be integrated into our everyday lives, like cell phones or the internet that's in our pockets? I don't know. I try to be optimistic, but people sometimes make it really hard. But as of right now, AI is not to the point where it can write books for you. It can help, but you have to be so specific that you might as well just write it yourself. But no, that is my experience with using AI to write a book. It's not positive. It's not good. I don't like it. I won't do it again. I wanted to know how it did things. I just kind of wanted that experience. And now that I have it, like, it's just, eh. That's my response. Eh.